week 15 of the fantasy basketball season. Here's a few guards on the rise this week. The first guy is True Holiday of the Milwaukee Bucks. So a couple days ago, True Holiday, he signed a 4-year, $160 million extension here with the Bucks. So he's getting the big payday. He's getting $40 million a year. And now that the contract's out of the way, this guy's been performing on top levels on the season. He's ranked 35th in fantasy basketball, 17.3 points a game, 4.5 boards, 5.4 assists, 1.8 steals, 2 threes a game, 82% from the foul line, and 51% from the field. But the last couple weeks, he's ranked number 8 in fantasy basketball, 25.5 points a game, 4.8 rebounds, 7.2 assists, 3 threes a game, 88% from the foul line, and an amazing 61% from the field. So Holiday, the last 5 games, he's really stepped his game up, and he locked down the big contract here with the Milwaukee Bucks. And he's a player that early in the season, he wasn't living up to the hype, but now he's putting up numbers. He's more comfortable, like I said. And this Buck team, they've won the last 3 out of 4, and he's definitely moving up the rankings and could be very valuable to fantasy owners in the playoffs. April 2nd in Portland, 22 points, 4 rebounds, 10 assists, 2 steals. April 3rd at Sacramento, 33 points, 7 rebounds, 11 assists, a steal, a block, and 3 threes. And then a couple nights ago at Golden State, 29 points, 3 rebounds, 5 assists, a steal, and 4 threes. So Holiday, he's doing it all right now. He's scoring the basketball at a very high mark. And I know Giannis, he's been in and out of the lineup the last few weeks here for the Buck team. But it's good to see Holiday taking control. And he's a guy that got the big contract, and he's ready to roll for the fantasy playoffs. The next play is Grayson Allen of the Memphis Grizzlies. So Grayson Allen this season's probably been his best season of his short pro career so far. So Allen on the season's ranked 155 in fantasy basketball, 10.6 points a game, 3.3 rebounds, 2.1 assists, 1 steal a game, 2.2 threes, 90% from the foul line, and 42% from the field for Allen. So Allen, we know he's a 3-ball specialist and a guy who's really going to score and maybe get a few rebounds here and there for fantasy owners. But he's rising up the rankings, and his playing time has been about 25 to 30 minutes now. The last few games, April 4th at Philly, 15 points, 5 rebounds, 2 assists, 2 steals, 2 blocks, and 4 threes. April 6th at Miami, 8 points, 1 rebound, 3 assists, and a 3. And last night at Atlanta, he was out of control, 30 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists, and 3 threes. So Grayson Allen, with John Morant banged up, he might get more of a chance and more opportunities to shoot the basketball. And in his last 3 ball games, he's got a whopping 41 shot attempts as Allen. So right now, he's a big part of the offense. And he's a player still available in 85% of fantasy leagues. So if you need a player who's going to score and have an opportunity, he's not a decent pickup. And he's definitely a guard on the rise. The next guard's Anthony Edwards, the first pick overall in the 2020 NBA draft. And Anthony Edwards, he's living up to the hype right now here for the Minnesota Timberwolves and fantasy owners over the last month. And he's been rising up the rankings. On the season, he's 153 in fantasy basketball, 17.8 points a game, 4.4 rebounds, 2.6 assists, 1.1 steals, 2.1 threes a game, 78% from the foul line, and 39% from the field. So obviously the shooting percentage isn't good, but the last few weeks now, Edwards, he's kicked it into the next year, is this rookie trying to win Rookie of the Year this season. 22.6 points a game, 4.9 rebounds, 2.8 assists, 1.6 steals a game, 2.1 threes, 80% from the foul line, and 45% from the field, where he's boosted up. So obviously this Minnesota team, they're the worst team in the NBA most likely this season, and they're looking to get a lottery pick at this time. So they're going to play the young players, and obviously they had the first pick in Edwards in last season's draft. So he's going to go out there, he's going to perform, and they're going to give him every opportunity, and he's taking the ball and run with it right now. And now I know D'Angelo Russell came back, but Malik Beasley's most likely out for the season. So it'll be more of an expanded role here for Anthony Edwards, and he's definitely rising up the ranking boards. April 3rd at Philly, 27 points, 1 rebound, 1 assist, a steal, 3 threes. April 5th versus Sacramento, 19 points, 8 rebounds, 5 assists, 2 steals, and 3 threes. And then last night in Indiana, in a high-scoring ball game, 27 points, 5 rebounds, 3 assists, a steal, and 2 threes. So Edwards, he's really scoring the basketball at a good pace. I know his percentages ain't all that great, but he's a rookie, and he's starting to be more efficient as well from the field. And he's definitely rising up the ranking boards and can be a player that could be a big part of your team entering the fantasy playoffs. The next play is Russell Westbrook of the Washington Wizards. So Westbrook this season, his scoring is down, but he is averaging a triple-double at 21.8 points a game, 10.5 rebounds, 10.6 assists, 1.2 steals, 1.4 threes a ball game, an awful 61% from the foul line, and 43% from the field. So Russell Westbrook, 20 triple-doubles on the season, but he's been going off of late with some monster stat lines that we've rarely seen in the history of the NBA. In the last 2 weeks, he's ranked 45th in fantasy basketball, 22 points a game, 15 rebounds, 12 assists, 1 steal a game, 1.83, 64% from the foul line, and 42% from the field. So the only thing Westbrook's really hurting on is in his turnovers and his field goal and free throw percentage. But the lines he's putting up are just out of control and things we've never seen before, like I mentioned for Westbrook. And early in the season, he wasn't getting many triple-doubles. But now the last 4 out of 5 games, he's got a triple-double as Westbrook. And the last 3 games for him have been monster. April 3rd versus Dallas, 26 points, 14 rebounds, 5 assists and a steal. April 5th at Toronto, 23 points, 14 boards, 11 assists, a steal. And then last night at the Orlando Magic, 23 points, 14 rebounds, 15 assists, and 3 threes. So this guy, he's putting on a clinic, and the numbers just keep ballooning up and up each and every week. And he's definitely rising up, and as long as he stays healthy, and this Wizard team has a chance to get into the play-in game or the 8th seed, Russell Westbrook, he could be a fantasy monster the rest of the season, rising up the rankings. And the 5th and final guard, rising up the rankings this week's Marcus Smart of the Boston Celtics. And Marcus Smart last night, he was a huge catalyst in that close ball game versus the New York Knicks, and he had a good fourth quarter to help his team win the ball game and pull it out on the season. He's ranked 134 in fantasy basketball, 13 points a game, 3 rebounds, 5.5 assists, 1.5 steals, 2 threes a game, 79% from the foul line, and 40% from the field. So Marcus Smart, pretty decent numbers. Obviously, you know he's going to hurt you in field goal percentage, but he gives you a bit of everything else in fantasy. And the last couple weeks, his numbers are 14 points a game, 3.5 rebounds, 5.9 assists, 1.4 steals, 2.3 threes a game, 80% from the foul line, and 44% from the field. So like I said, Marcus Smart, he's an intangible player. He's a better real-life player than fantasy, but right now he's giving owners 5 or 6 categories in fantasy basketball, and that's something you can't look away at. And he's been rising up the rankings, like I mentioned, in the last couple weeks, going from 134 to 58 in this time span. And April 4th versus the Hornets, 12 points, a rebound, 4 assists, a steal, and 4 threes. April 6th versus Philly, 14 points, 1 rebound, 3 assists, a steal, a block, and a 3. And last night, he was leading the Celtics back, like I mentioned earlier, versus the Knicks. 17 points, 4 rebounds, 9 assists, a steal, a block, and 3 threes. So Smart, he's doing it all right now. Boston, they need him a lot because they've been struggling this season comparing to where people thought they would be. And he's a guy that's helping fantasy owners and rising up the board. So that's a few guards on the rise this week in Week 15 of the fantasy basketball season.